Raider Nation, what's going on? Coming up on the Raiders Report, find out why the Raiders are mad at the 49ers. The next big story, and probably my top story, Charles Woodson. Is he going to be the next defensive backs coach because he just left ESPN? And next one coming up, Marshawn Lynch. Is he going to return in 2019? Find out why. I might give this one 4 Chucky heads. Believe it, baby. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, brought to you by BetDSI, and I'm your host, Mitchell Renz. Interact with me on Instagram and Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. We just crossed 9,000 subscribers, so shout out to everybody subscribed. But I haven't done this in a while, so since we have a whole bunch of new subscribers, let's get on into my Chucky head explainer. 0 Chucky heads, tuck rule, tuck that. This rumor, not going to happen. 1 Chucky head is a small shred of truth. I like to think 25% chance of happening. 2 Chucky heads, people are talking. This rumor, 50-50. 3 Chucky heads, this rumor is pretty likely, 75% chance of happening. And then 4 Chucky heads, believe it, baby. This rumor, 100% is going to happen. I teased it earlier in the show. Raiders mad at the 49ers. Do you know why? This one's 4 Chucky heads, believe it, baby. The drama around where the Raiders are going to play in 2019 continues, and the Raiders were furious at the Coliseum, so they went and said that they were never going to play there ever again. But here's the thing. Now they're more furious with the 49ers because the 49ers aren't going to let them play at Levi Stadium, which means back to talking to the Coliseum. The Raiders went all the way through negotiations with the San Francisco Giants, ready to give away their preseason home games and push back an Oracle home game for the park in October. Here's the thing, though. They didn't check with the 49ers at first to the agreement, and the 49ers were just like, no, you guys aren't going to play in San Francisco. Now, the NFL has always wanted the Raiders to use Levi Stadium as a temporary home, and I imagine as 2018 season ticket holders, I would hope that they'd have their early shot to buy PSLs at Las Vegas, but I don't know. So this guy, Tim Kawakami, he was going off on Twitter yesterday, and he basically just said the Raiders have essentially thrown away the 2019 season. And as it stands right now, the Raiders, they're going to practice in Oakland, and they're also, negotiating to play their home games there in 2019. And the Raiders right now literally have no idea where they're going to play. And for me, I'm going to look at the Raiders situation, and I'm going to point the finger at Mark Davis. I mean, at the end of the day, this guy owns the team, and the fact that we have no idea where the Raiders are going to play is really frustrating. And I know I've said on the Raiders Report before that they were going to play at Oracle Park because it was basically a done deal. And as an owner, how do you not check to see all the little write-ins that what it takes to potentially play at a new field? It drives me absolutely insane, and I don't know. I think at the end of the day, we need to start pointing the finger at Mark Davis. So everybody who's watching the show, I have a serious question. Is Mark Davis a good owner? I want you to type G for good, or I want you to type B for bad, all right? If you want to know what I honestly think, hit me up on IG at Mitchell Renz 365. I asked my loyal YouTube subscribers, and if you want to subscribe below, it's youtube.com/Raiders Report because it's the only way you're going to get on the show. And I asked, what is the best part of the Raiders Report? So shout out to my man Van, like the pick. The consistency. The show is consistent. There was no other person streaming on YouTube that is as consistent and literal as you. I literally love hearing that. This next one's coming in from Dirty 30 Productions. This is actually where I used to work before I was coming here. Am I right? My notifications are on, and I clicked on the bell, bro. Much appreciated. I like your show because it's entertaining, and I know you do your homework. I actually haven't done homework since probably 9th grade. And on your rumors, so it's no BS. Also, you call out the people's BS. One Nation, believe it, Raiders love. Dirty 30 Productions, want to see those productions. Raiders for Life is this next one. The updates are sick. Much appreciated. That's why I only watch the Raiders Report for news. Mitch is the best. Raiders for Life, you guys are the best. And if you want to get on the show, again, subscribe below to youtube.com/Raiders Report. And if you're already on YouTube, well, shit. Just click that button below, subscribe, youtube.com/Raiders Report, and make sure you guys turn on those notifications so you know exactly when I go live. Get in those comments because that's when I'm putting you guys on screen. And once again, interact with me on Instagram and Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. I'm trying to get that blue check mark, and the more followers I get, guys, I would definitely appreciate it. My next rumor here is Oakland the best 2019 destination for the Raiders. I'm giving this one 4 Chucky heads again. I don't know if this has ever happened before. 4 Chucky heads back-to-back on the Raiders Report. And let's be honest. I think when you look at what the Raiders have from a team standpoint and just from a culture standpoint, I think there's a lot of NFL franchises that really wish that they had the support that the Oakland Raiders do from a home franchise. And I would do it for the season ticket holders for the Raiders, and I just think Oakland deserves another season. I mean, think about all this, everything that this franchise has gone through, especially in the most recent years, and now that we're dealing with all this other BS, I really think the Raiders should go back to Oakland in 2019, cap off the season the right way. So, do I think it's the best destination in 2019? I 100% think so. All right, how many years have you been a Raiders fan? I want you guys to comment below. So I've been blown away by just the open, family attitude that Raider Nation has. So I want to know from everybody watching, how many years have you been a Raiders fan? Comment below. I think the person has the highest number, maybe you get a shout out on my next segment. I definitely want to give a shout out to BetDSI for hooking up Chat Sports with the best promo code on the internet. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code LIVE120 for 120% deposit bonus. You want a free NFL jersey? Listen up. Sign up and deposit with MasterCard or Bitcoin, and then DM Chat Sports on Twitter @Chat Sports. And to get better deal, use Bitcoin. You get 150% deposit bonus. Chatsports.com/bet. Shout out to BetDSI for hooking up Chat Sports with the best promo on the internet. Let's roll in now to my number 3 rumor, and it's Charles Woodson, the next defensive back coach. So this is my headline. This is the big one. And I'm going to give this one 2 Chucky heads, and people are talking. And I'll be honest, I have off Fridays and Saturdays, but y'all were blowing up my feed. Is Charles Woodson going to be the next defensive backs coach? Well, Derek Ansley took a job as co-defensive coordinator with the Tennessee Titans, okay? Now, Woodson also left ESPN, all right? And at that exact, he says that it's purely a coincidence, but is it, Charles? I really want to know, okay? So, I understand that it's coincidence, but you know who also said that they were never going to leave ESPN? John Gruden. John Gruden said he wasn't going to leave. In fact, he was mocking analysts. He was mocking people saying, why would I leave ESPN? I love my job. Do you know why? Right there. See, they offered him a nice big fat paycheck, and now I don't know if he would get a fat paycheck, Charles Woodson, that is, to be a defensive backs coach. But money talks, and I would absolutely love Charles Woodson back on the Raiders sidelines. Who's with me, right? Get Charles Woodson back. And why? Because the dude had an unbelievable career, especially with the Raiders. 1,205 tackles, 33 forced fumbles, 183 pass breakups, and 65 interceptions. I really think you could argue that Charles Woodson is the greatest defensive player in Raiders history. So guess what's coming up next? Who is the greatest Raiders defensive player in the history of the team? And I phrased that really weird. Who's the greatest defensive player in Raiders history? Okay, I want you guys to comment below. And if you want to know who I think, I want you to hit me up on IG or Twitter @MitchellRenz365. Next rumor here, are the Raiders destined for greatness? And when I read this story, I thought it was pretty interesting. And this one's from Michael Robinson. And if you don't know what Michael Robinson is, he works at NFL Network. And I'm going to give this one 3 Chucky heads because Michael came out and said that he believes in John Gruden and Mike Mayock, and he actually said straight up, the Raiders are destined for greatness. And as much as I want to say, Michael, I 100% agree with you, greatness is a big term, right? And the thing that I'm going to look at is he was always a leader on the field, especially when he was at Penn State, and even when he played in the NFL. This is Michael Robinson. So he led the Nittany Lions to a Big Ten conference title in 2005, earning Big Ten and MVP, okay? He also spent 9 NFL seasons, or 9 seasons in the NFL. He played with the 49ers and the Seahawks. This is why I'm going to trust what he says. When he played with the 49ers, they were really bad. And then when he played with the Seahawks, they were a lot better. So this is a guy who's seen both ends of the spectrum. He played on a really good team, and he's played on a really bad team. And what is he saying? He's saying that he sees what the Raiders are doing, and he believes that they are destined for greatness. Hey, man, all I'm hoping for is the Raiders just get a winning season this next season. And then in 2020, I've been saying it for a while, I have 2020 vision on the Raiders, and I think the future is bright. So he's saying destined for greatness. When I hear greatness, I'm thinking Super Bowl, right? So when's the next Super Bowl going to be for the Raiders? All right, I want you to comment the year below. Is it going to be 2019, 2020? A little bit of a J.R. Smith pipe dream there, but still, when is the Raiders' next Super Bowl going to be? I want you to type down below the year. And if you want to know what I think, guess what you got to do? Right there. Hit me up. IG, Twitter, @MitchellRenz365. Now, maybe Michael was drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit, or he could have just been drinking some awesome beer from Tavour. If you guys love craft beer, go to Tavour.com. It's below, TAVOUR.com. Sign up is for free, and then use promo code ChatSports for $10 off your very first purchase. I love craft beer. If anybody signs up on Tavour, tweet at me. I'm going to retweet every single one of them. Next rumor coming up here is around Marshawn Lynch beast mode. And is he going to return in 2019? I'm going to give this one 3 Chucky heads, and people are talking. And the guy who's talking was Michael Robinson again. So Michael Robinson, he was on NFL Network, and he's talking about, the Raiders being destined for greatness and all these things. But then he also said that he recently spoke with Marshawn Lynch because him and Marshawn are really good friends. Now remember, he played fullback for the Seahawks, blocking the way for Marshawn Lynch. And he recently said that he spoke with Marshawn and said that Marshawn wants to play again because he has some, in quotes, unfinished business. I'm going to say this right now on the Raiders Report. I'm giving this one 3 Chucky heads. If the Raiders play in Oakland in 2019, Marshawn Lynch on the Raiders, 4 Chucky heads. Believe it, baby. When you look at 2018, Marshawn started off great. Like, he really did. His first 3 games, 3 touchdowns, and I think he was the person setting the tempo for the Raiders offense, and once they lost that, that really hurt. The only thing was he got banged up, and he's been kind of banged up with injuries, and that's one of the reasons why he retired because, well, the dude has a huge workload. 2,441 carries throughout his career, over 10,000 rushing yards, 84 touchdowns. Now, he hasn't grabbed his jock 84 times, but Beast Mode has been an absolute truck star, and he's been absolutely just running people over his entire career, and I do think it's starting to weigh on his body. I mean, let's be honest, the dude's 33 years old. So is Beast Mode going to play in 2019? I want you to type Y for yes or type N for no. Will Beast Mode play in 2019? Now, I absolutely love Beast Mode, okay? Absolutely love Beast Mode, and I'm really hoping that he does return because I think he is what Oakland is, right? Like, they're just a tough franchise, and I'm really just hoping that Marshawn swoops back on in there, becomes the running back for the Raiders, and maybe he can even teach Chris Warren a thing or two, right? But still, will Beast Mode be a running back for the Raiders in 2019? Y for yes and for no. My last rumor here is around John Brown, a little bit of Raiders free agency, and is John Brown going to be a Raider in 2019? 2 Chucky heads. People are talking. And why am I bringing this one up? So, obviously, the Raiders need some help in the terms for finding a wide receiver. And Mike Mayock has said multiple times that he wants to build speed and build talent around Carr. Now, I think if you watch John Brown when he's fully healthy, he's really talented wide receiver. I mean, his first 3 years, like, there's been coaches like Bruce Arians that have compared him to Marvin Harrison. There's been coaches that compared him to Antonio Brown. Now, again, those are super far stretch, just basically based off his height, 5'10", and weight. Very similar to those 2 players. But then he started dealing with sickle cell, and he really started to fall off, and just because he couldn't stay healthy. Now, this past year with the Ravens, again, he was able to stretch the field. 42 catches, 715 yards. Heck, he averaged 17 yards per catch, and he had 5 touchdowns. And at the end of the day, if he can just be a field stretcher for the Raiders, which they desperately need, maybe sign him to a short contract. It's like a prove-it deal to stay healthy. Personally, I would actually like John Brown with the Raiders. And then when you look at what he's done his entire career, again, he's averaging over 15 yards per catch. That's what I want. I want a field stretcher on the Raiders because the Raiders have Jordy, they have Marcel Aitman. Now let's get a player who can stretch the field and really open up the run game. And again, consistency is a big thing for me. Can he stay healthy? That's my biggest thing with John Brown. Let's get him on to a prove-it deal. But John Brown, career, hey, maybe he's going to play his next little bit of his career with the Oakland Raiders, which is why I'm asking you this. Should the Raiders target John Brown in free agency? I want you to type 1 for yes or type 2 for no, okay? And if you don't want John Brown, if you're going to type 2 for no, be an overachiever. Tell me who you want the Raiders to target from a wide receiver standpoint in free agency. I'm going to be back tomorrow with some Raiders free agents on defense. So until then, I'll see you. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this, I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.